Everyone, welcome to the show. I'm Josh with BlockRoots. As always, nothing is financial advice on this channel, so always do your own research. But there's a lot of good stuff we want to talk about today, including are we having some altcoin accumulation from institutions? We'll talk about why that possibly is. We want to look at the Bitcoin chart, and we'll go ahead and get started. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, just know that for our subscribers who leave a comment on any of our videos throughout the week, we're going to, on a weekly basis, give away Bitcoin. As far as that number, we're going to give at least $50 worth of Bitcoin a week, possibly also $100 a week too, when it comes to our subscribers who actually leave comments. We want to definitely be an engaging channel. We want to hear from you, want to hear your thoughts on the market. We'd love for you to do that by leaving a comment below. You can also leave your Bitcoin address along with your comment, but make sure just don't leave a Bitcoin address, all right? I want a comment. We'll go ahead and have a random drawing for that on a weekly basis. So make sure to go ahead and subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, and we'll go ahead and get started. And also, before we start, if you have not yet checked out Unstoppable Domains, if you believe that blockchain is the future, if you're tired of copying and pasting, 30 alphanumeric random numbers and letters when it comes to your Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, and other crypto asset wallet public keys, check out Unstoppable Domains, because now they're doing .zeal and .crypto names that you can use for your actual wallet. And as far as that goes, it's kind of a big deal. So a lot of the great names are being taken first. I've already actually bought BlockRoots.zeal, and I'll have BlockRoots.crypto as well. So say if you go by Bitcoin Brad, right? You can go to Unstoppable Domains, put in the search bar, and see if your name, our Twitter handle or YouTube handle or whatever is available, and you can see that BitcoinBrad.zeal is available. You can add that to the cart. When you buy any .zeal name, you get the .crypto for free. So if you want the .crypto, all you have to do is buy the .zeal, and you're going to make sure to have that secured for yourself. This week only, and again, registration for .cryptos will open up on, I think, the 21st or the 22nd, but I'll put out another video about that. But again, unstoppabledomains.io. If you use .io, that lets them know that it is our link, and when you use our link, we're actually going to have $750 worth of prizes and giveaways to 3 different people all together. And if you use our link, unstoppabledomains.io, you can get access to that as well. I'll put that at the bottom of the channel. So let's go ahead and look at the Bitcoin chart. And if we go ahead and look at the BitMEX chart, we're currently going sideways. So what's new with that? We've been getting sideways for over 2 weeks now, right? And so today prices has dropped a little bit. It hit up as high as 8,400, and it hit down as low as 8,100. Now, if we look at the chart right here, basically one thing that we can do is just map out the range that we're in. One place that I like to do that specifically is the CME futures, Bitcoin futures chart. Why is that? Because you're not going to get any more professional than the CMEs. And so this is where accredited investors, some of the large players, are playing at when it comes to the Bitcoin market. And so I like to follow this chart quite a bit compared to a lot of the other spot exchanges that are small, not a lot of volume, etc. So let's go ahead and map it out. So if we were to look at the highs and the lows in this range, of course the high is in this area around 8,700. Even more so if we want to bring that down, because price never did really close above that. We see the multiple wicks above on the daily chart. So if we want to say 8,640 kind of as the upper range, and the lower part of the range, now we could certainly put down here to 7,900, but when we look up here, this area around 8,130 is certainly the current support area. So this is really the tight range that we're playing in right now. But if we want, we'll go ahead and maybe spread these out to 7,900 to 8,700. This is the range that Bitcoin's playing at. As far as the last few days, of course, over the weekend, a lot of people got really bullish because, of course, on the 9th, Bitcoin went from 8,000 up to around 8,700. went sideways, popped up again to around 8,800, and then quickly dropped down, 6% or so when it comes to the price. And so a lot of people got fooled. Is this bullish or is this bearish? Well, my answer to that is depending on how you look at it. I think that was great that price moved up there. I think the more times we hit in this area, the more likely that the resistance breaks. But the issue is that as price dropped, that was more or less for relief after this big drop. Again, after so much tension and so much selling, again, you have to price typically has to push up to add some relief. But again, then sellers stepped in and price went back down. Now, the thing about this that makes it bearish is that after this wick up and push down, price closed below this resistance area at around 83.60. And the issue is that you see the wicks here. Price has been unable to close back above that. I certainly see that as bearish. Again, that price would wick up and then go back down and not be able to break the previous resistance that held price down. That turned from support back to resistance again, and I honestly see that as bearish. And so right now, I'm more of a bearish mind frame. Bearish not in the sense that we're going to go to like 5K or 6K, but bearish in the sense that I think that we do retest this 7,900 area again. And of course, if that breaks down, we're going to continue to move down from there. Well, where will we go, right? I think that's, I'll pull out the BitMEX chart again. And if you look at the chart, right, you want to look at key areas of confluence here. Now, one of the places that I look is right below this big cluster of price right here. So I feel like this area is a key area to hold, okay? And that's going to be around 7,200 down to 6,900, okay? So if I turn on the VPVR, which is the volume profile, that's a big deal because that shows supply and demand, these big high volume nodes right here. Now you're going to notice that this area that I have marked right here, there's really not any supply and demand. So what could happen is that price, if it does fall, it could just cut right through here and go straight to 6,400, okay? Or at least 6,500, this area right here. Now currently we see price holding up at this area of heavy VPVR supply and demand. Okay, so price, of course, look at it. It's wicked down and it's hit the top of this high volume node right there, which goes to show you, I love to use VPVR because, again, I feel like it has a lot of weight when it comes to supply and demand and where price is going next. Like I mentioned, we could certainly see this is an area of confluence, right? Price dropped down here, bounced back up, back in, I do believe that it was May when that happened. And then if it drops from there, well, what's going to happen, right? We start to get kind of scared after that. Well, some people are talking around 6K, okay? But again, the issue here is that there's not really a big supply and demand here until you get to around 5,200, which is kind of crazy to think about. The price would drop that far. It doesn't have to. But if we are looking at areas of support and resistance horizontally, we can certainly see around 5,500, maybe a little bit higher in this area, around 5,800, 5,700. But I do believe if it does drop from the 64 to 62 area, I believe that we will probably come down here to this big cluster price. And whether that's 5,200 or 54, 5,500, who knows? But all I know is that has to hold or we're going to see new lows for this cycle, right? So the thing about it is not to be bearish, super bearish. I'm not bearish. I'm not going to worry about price falling that far until it even breaks 7,069. There's also a major fib area here where a lot of bots and algos tend to buy, which will likely bounce off around 6,900. So I think that we'll see a nice bounce at this area if we don't see one before then. So that's just kind of the macro outlook, what we're watching for, watching it level by level. And as far as the big news, let's go ahead and talk about it. Now, the big news when it comes to altcoin accumulation that I was mentioning earlier comes from this Grayscale digital asset investment report. And so if you haven't heard of Grayscale, They're basically the world's largest digital currency asset manager. And really, what that means is they allow for institutions and accredited investors to actually have exposure to not only Bitcoin, but cryptocurrency in total with some of their investment products. Now, they came out with this report, and really what the report shows is that there has been some accumulation over institutions when it comes to Ethereum and other altcoins. You can go ahead and look at this here. I can add this digital asset investment report below in the notes if you want to look at it from Grayscale. But you can see for Q3 2019, if you scroll down, they do give some highlights about the hundreds of millions of dollars that they've raised for their total products. If I go down and they talk about the takeaway, basically this has been the strongest demand for Grayscale products since the firm began. Okay, and so what we'll do is I'm going to go ahead and scroll down here through all of this, and really what I want to show is this chart right here. And so what this chart shows is, as far as their products go, is that the dark is actually Bitcoin, okay, and then the lighter colors are actually Ethereum and other altcoins. And that you can see, as far as the investment in the products, the money inflowing into these products, Bitcoin has been pretty much, well, it's grown over the course of the past year, but what we haven't seen is altcoins, specifically with Ethereum and some of these other major altcoins, which include XRP, Litecoin, Zcash, Ethereum Classic, etc., Stellar Lumens, Zen. And so we haven't seen really a lot of growth until this past quarter in Q3. And what you notice is that there is just more and more growth for these altcoins, specifically Ethereum, over the course of the past few months. Now, if we go ahead and look at the Ethereum charts, we also want to notice during this time, around late August, early September to mid-September, we had a price from about 165 moving up all the way up to around 220s, okay, for Ethereum. And then, of course, Bitcoin dropped off, everything else dropped off. But ever since then, it's just been kind of going sideways and slowly moving back up when it comes to Ethereum. If we want to look at the ETH-BTC chart, here's the Ethereum Bitcoin chart pairing. And so what you notice as well too, around September, there's definitely been some growth, some drop off, but not as much as the USD chart, which means that Ethereum wasn't outperformed by Bitcoin for very long, and ever since then it's been slowly moving back up. So we could certainly see that this is a time of possible accumulation for Ethereum, even outside of Bitcoin, as far as altcoins, from institutions, which is huge, right? Because I certainly believe that this report by Grayscale is bullish by all means. And so you can go ahead and take a look through here. There's a lot of other interesting stuff here when it comes to Bitcoin accumulation, altcoins, and of course, as you see here, just the steady weekly inflows throughout Q3. Just the growth that you see here is just phenomenal. Over $100 million worth, right? That's huge, okay? That's a ton of money flowing into some of these altcoins. Now, it's not like we still can't see lows, right? We certainly can, and we may see accumulation continue to build up if price moves back down. But when it comes to exposure, of course, these institutions know what they're doing, and certainly I think that when it comes to long-term for Bitcoin and even Ethereum, most of somebody's portfolio should be of Bitcoin. And then along with that, I think secondly should be Ethereum, because I do think that they will figure out when it comes to the scaling solution. They were the first movers here. So again, they've got a lot of real estate, a lot of developers, and there's a lot of people who are bullish to build up Ethereum. Some people don't agree with that. I think bottom line, if you're looking to diversify your portfolio, my personal opinion is that yes, you not only besides Bitcoin, but you do have Ethereum. And I'm not for sure about some of these other altcoins. Again, I tend to be a little bit more cautious when it comes to Ethereum Classic. Zcash has performed really bad, but they could be turning around here. Bitcoin Cash and XRP. The funny thing is, you don't see much interest in Bitcoin Cash or XRP whatsoever. Also, too, it doesn't look like Stellar Lumens. Looks like people are very interested in it as well, too. It's primarily Ethereum, and it looks like Ethereum Classic. So just to know that, those are a couple of things as far as institutions when it comes to altcoin accumulation. And we've looked at the Ethereum BTC chart. And as far as that goes, just know that this is a key area to watch. If this area breaks, then likely we're going to see at least 7,000, 6,900, and possibly move down to the mid to low 6,000s from there, right? Things start to get ugly, but let's take it one day at a time. We don't want to get too crazy. And when it comes to the markets, definitely bullish macro, even if we are somewhat in a downtrend at the moment. So don't forget, go ahead and would love for you to like this if you feel like there's some benefit and value out of this video. Would love for you to subscribe. Make sure you comment below. Make sure that you put not only your comment, but leave your Bitcoin address below. We'll continue to build up the engagement and then do some Bitcoin giveaways throughout the weeks and coming months, and it'll be a lot of fun. So guys, thanks again. Hope that you have a great day, trade effectively, and we'll talk to you soon.